This will be my very first video, so if you think I'm feeling uncomfortable in front of the camera, yes I am. And this will be my first sample board of epoxy pour. I'm going to do a hand milled black marble, and this will be my very first sample board. So if you see anything that I'm doing wrong, please be nice in the comments. I am using Stone Coat epoxy, and it's a part A and a part B, and it's a 1-to-1 mix ratio. I've done a couple of small projects with epoxy. One of the projects that I've done was just simply a clear pour on a table, and it's just a small little coffee table and a clear pour. But now I want to get into doing more colors, more marbles, more countertops, more large tabletops. And this is going to be the first video that I'm doing. And with this black marble, for this size board that I'm using here, this is going to use probably about 11 ounces worth. Now to do the math for that, according to Mitch from Stone Coat Countertops, it's about 3 to 4 ounces when you're doing a hand milled pour of epoxy. And it's 7 to 8 ounces when you're doing an exotic pour, where you're just pouring everything into one bucket and you're pouring it out and you let the colors make up its own mind of where they're going to be. And that's how many ounces you're going to do per square foot. Now for this pour that we're doing here, and let me move. So for this pour, we are going to use a powdered graphite black. It's a real small can of it. We're going to use a black pearl, and that's a powder. And we're going to use a paste of white metallic. And I already have the epoxy mixed here. And so I'm just going to pour it into my separate containers over here on the side. And let's see, try to get an even amount in each one first. And I don't need a lot of the white, because the background color and the main color is going to be the black, or both blacks. When you're doing a black marble, if you're doing a white marble, you're going to want to have more of the white background, or the white colors that you're going to be using. You're going to want more epoxy in that. And let me try to scoop in all of this I can get out of this. Okay. Let's go put that on the side here. Let's grab a little bit of the powdered graphite black, and you don't make sure you want to add enough to where the colors are not transparent. You don't want a transparent colors, because whatever's in the background, in this case it's just spray paint on this board, that's going to come through quite a bit. And let's add some black pearl. And if you see anything that, for you all that have done this before and you see that I'm not doing it correctly, I'm welcome to comments. Please go ahead and drop a comment in. Let me know what it is that I may not be doing right. I've watched videos from Stone Coat Countertops. Let's go ahead and mix all these colors in. And also RK3, Rhonda. I've been trying to watch all of your videos that I can to learn how to actually put all these colors together. And they definitely have a much more creative mind than I do. I'm more of a computer guy, data guy, so just doing wild colors and everything else is not in my wheelhouse. But let's see where I end up. So maybe someday I will be. And there is the graphite. It's got a little bit of shine to it, but it is more of a matte. Let's see what the black pearl gives us. And the black pearl, you can see that the black pearl, it has like almost a gray kind of tint to it. You see it better on the board itself. There's a little bit more shine than the graphite. At least while I'm stirring it up, it does. And then the white metallic. Now the black graphite, I have not used that before. I know the black pearl does have a little bit of shine to it. So hopefully I'll get two different colors of black on here. Okay, I had this black now. Let's take what's left on here and sort of wipe it across the board. One thing, if you're looking for epoxy to spread, it's always nice to have some epoxy already on the board, because epoxy likes to go where epoxy already is. So as long as if you already have epoxy on the board, it'll run a lot faster, and also when it's warm. So let's get some of this graphite down. So let's move this over here. And we're just doing this as a hand mill, so I'll be moving this around. And it looks like the graphite does have more of a gray tint to it. And now for the black pearl. Not sure exactly how it's showing up here on camera, but you can see it's definitely two different color blacks. There's neither one are a pure black. I guess when I do a real piece for the black graphite, I need to make sure that I have the pure black in here, because this is definitely coming out of more of a gray kind of tint to it. But it is two different colors. And yeah, this is the fun part, trying to get all this white on here and just sort of add sort of a design to it. Trying to get to these edges here, and let's try to scoop out the last bits of this on this edge over here. I know I don't exactly have the softest touch trying to get towards these edges, but listening to Rhonda, you're supposed to use a light touch to get that pattern to go in the direction that you want it to go. The hard touch, you're going to get all the way down to the bottom. As you can tell, I poured it in one direction and it's coming out as I'm doing this hand meld, sort of at an angle. And let's see what happens now. As I throw in some of this white. And the plan is to mix some of this in with the hand meld and not just keep it as the fractured lines the way it is right now. I may have too much of the white in here. It's just a matter of adding the colors in. The black usually overtakes everything. Let's get a little bit up here. Okay, now let's hand meld that in. And if you decide you want to change the directions of some of the colors, if you have a light enough touch, you can make other fractured lines in here of it. Oops. And sometimes you can keep the fractured lines in if you so desire. It all depends upon how you want the look to go. Or if you're doing this for a client, how that client wants it to look. Okay, let's try to hit this with a little bit of heat. Okay, now I'm not all that happy with what's going on here. Maybe somebody else is, but I'm not. So I'm gonna keep coming through here and add some more little touches through here. And there's different techniques to actually blending in some of those lines. Again, this is my first one, so I'm going to try using the edge of this and sort of coming through and lightly touching it and making my own little fractures with the edge. And just seeing what happens when I do this way. I've never actually tried this before, so if you see that I'm doing it wrong, you know what it's going to look like when you do it wrong then. This may be a little too much in here. Oops. As you can tell, this is a little less black marble because of all of the blacks that I used were not exactly a deep black. They were more of a gray and a graphite. So they didn't go full black. So the background on this is kind of light. And I'm sure that the piece that I'm doing, they're requiring more black than what's actually here. And that's going to cover this up. Now, I'm going to try some isopropyl on this piece. And this is isopropyl 91. It's in a little spray bottle. And this will give it, throw in a little, not bubbles, but little marks in it to give it more of an organic kind of look to it. And you want the big bubbles on there. So you don't want to pull the trigger full. There you go. Oh, that's definitely changing this piece a lot. That's the first time I've had the isopropyl actually work. Now this piece will, with epoxy, it'll automatically level out itself. Let's see. Looks like I may have wiped out too much epoxy there, but it will level itself out. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to do the isopropyl first and then hit it with the fire, because isopropyl will light. How do I know that? Because I've already done it. I wasn't paying attention to the order of things of how I was doing things. Put the isopropyl on, put a little heat on it, and it caught fire. Good thing it was a little fire. This piece is still moving. Probably should have put the isopropyl on at a much later time. We're trying to get another look. I know that there's a light shining on it right now. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. You can see some of the designs in there. Some of the lines are coming back from the white. And you see some of the circles that are in there that came from the isopropyl. But after this is all over with, I hope to get a final picture added to the end, and possibly a final picture of the bar top that I'm actually doing for someone. That's going to be a much darker, blacker piece in the background instead of this more gray kind of look to it. But this is the first one, the first sample board. All right, thank you very much for your time.